and that was Copper Cayley with God's Alibi. We're discussing the Stanford rapist case today and the reaction in the pagan community of a bunch of witches and Wiccans getting together, decide they're going to throw a curse not only on the rapist, but on his father for taking up for him, and also a curse on the judge himself. And to me, that just it is against my personal morals. But there are people out there with quite a bit different beliefs than me. So to try to get some of you folks with different beliefs than us on here, we're open up the phones, area code 501 627 0711. That's 501 627 0711. And we'll be watching the phone.
You know, there's a lot of different belief paths that, don't believe in curses or do believe in curses or whatever. I know that, and there's negative and positive in any faith. There's extremists, and then there's, people that I'm a strong believer in my path and the things that I believe in. But am I an extremist? No. I'm not going to go and be like, crazy over something. But I do believe that, things are going to come down the pipe. I kind of believe in the law of threefold, and everything has their repercussion. Every seed you sow, there's benefits and drawbacks, and it's just like me planting my garden. It's some positive, some negative. That's just how our society works. But I think, I really think that the whole rawness of emotions, and that's when we see the most upheaval in society in general, is when the rawness is there, the emotions. And this is one of the topics that goes back and forth all of the time, safety of women and men together, and what's so sad and so upsetting about it is, with all this being in the media, it's going to make other victims, not want to come forward and say, hey, this happened to me, because, they may have seen what's happened and, oh, well, they're not going to get anything but a slap on the wrist. I think he has to do 6 months probation or something like that. And, that's what's so bad about society is today is we're supposed to be able to rely on, the people that we put in charge of our government and hire to protect us. And, and here they are, they don't feel like they can turn to them because of this, so it's really brought more negative than it really has brought positive. But, it's got people talking about it. And I encourage anybody who's, being harmed, whether it be domestic abuse, sexual abuse, being raped, anything like that, please don't keep it quiet. The show before us, they were talking about, therapy and things like that. And, therapy is not just for mental health. When I was raped, therapy did a lot of good for me. Like, it really helped me work through some things. And, but if you keep that bottled up inside, it's going to build hatred. It's going to build self-harm. It's going to build ill will. It's going to just make you be a negative person, want to hurt yourself or something like that. And we definitely don't want that.
In many ways, this speaks to the greater disillusionment of American society, because we've come to the conclusion as Americans that our police forces are not out there doing their proper job, but out there trying to raise money for the city by giving as many tickets as they can, putting as many people in jail as they can, because prisons become a for-profit industry. And then we have judges that, rather than going by justice, they go by the good old boy system. Instead of saying, well, this is what the law says, this is what the Constitution says, they say, well, what can we do to this person? How can we make money off this person? whether it's just locking them up and
But I don't
getting
think
paid for keeping it.
I don't think that's true on all levels. I know quite a few police officers that are good, genuine people, and they really do uphold the law. But it's
Hmm.
just like, what we were talking about. There's good and bad in everything,
Right.
In the profession I work in, there's good and bad. The professions that, there's always good and bad in everything. That's what keeps us balanced. Because if everything was good all the time and so happy and all this, it would be boring. And so that's why it takes a variety of people
Hmm.
um, to make up the way that we are. We are here to learn. We're here to be on a path. We are here to, do right by things,
Hmm.
whatever our morals are. There's some people that is right to them being negative and not being,
Hmm.
not being on the right path. There's a lot of negative people that I know like that. And, in society, what is normal? There is no normal in our society. And, I like it that way. But then again, that's just me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, once again, I do think that a lot of this speaks to the disillusionment of people
Mm-hmm.
because obviously they wouldn't be trying to step up and do this themselves if they had faith in the legal system.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that is due to the way that the media covers what goes on.
I think the media is a major factor in the downfall of our society.
We talk about downfall society, and every generation says, well, it was better when the last generation was around.
That's true. That is very true.
So,
I mean, I know from the generation that I have now, from the generation that was before, things that are more important to the generation that is coming up in the world isn't as important to, was more important, I should say, more important to the people of the older days. But our society is changing. It's very electronic. It's very this and that. I mean, I know children that can maneuver a cell phone or an iPad or something like that way faster than anybody else I know. And so the way that technology in our lives are changing, the way we're learning things is changing.
hmm.
And so, that's just how it is. And so the next generation coming up may be like, well, we're so much better than the last generation. But I think the only thing that's consistent is change. And if we don't change, then we don't learn. If we don't expand, we don't learn.
So, how do we produce the positive type of change that is needed to prevent rapes and prevent people from feeling so disenfranchised that they turn to vigilantism?
I don't know. I really think that support and love is a lot of the answer. But I'm a hippie, so love and peace for me. But I think that our society is, as a matter of fact, me and someone were just talking the other day about how we have a lot more selfish people in society. And I really don't think that it's that per se. I think it's more everybody's just busy, and there's so much more now that we know that we didn't know then.
Hmm.
And technology is expansion. I mean, I can talk to people all the way across the world that I've never met before,
Right.
and I think just the way that we're opening our minds and expanding. And there's people that don't like change. I am one of those people. I hate change, um, but I know that there's good coming out of it. So I just don't. I just recommend that everybody's, working together, being positive, and all those different things. As a matter of fact, here locally, a project that I'm involved in is we're trying to get some a new nonprofit started for the homeless. I know
Hmm.
some people that they're just down on themselves and this and that, and um, they have food banks here, and they have there's great people here working with the homeless, but some of the things that they don't have access to is being able to wash their clothes, take a shower, those
Yeah.
kinds of things. And so we've seen a lot of positive feedback. um, Everybody's like, oh yeah, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. But it takes it takes more than just, hey, let's do that,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so that's something that it takes a whole team of people. You know, I'm a Taurus by nature, so natural born leader, but at the same time, you know, it takes a team, and I know that. I've ran nonprofits for years, and it takes a team. And so, what I want to encourage the pagan community to do is just everybody come together and, you know, let's put some positive light on this. Um, you know, let's light a candle for the victims. Let's, you know, instead of just being so negative about it, let's turn that hatred into positive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we're coming up towards the end of the show. We got about 8 minutes left. And so far, no call ins. I guess no one wants to talk to us. So we're going to go to a song here, Long Gone by Fiddler's Green.